Hey there, fellow treasure hunters. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever held something in your hand that you thought was just spare change, but it turned out to be worth more than your house? Well, buckle up, because today we're going to uncover the story of a small, shiny coin that could transform your life faster than you can say financial freedom. I'm talking about the 2020p National Park quarter dollar, yes, the humble little quarter minted in Philadelphia, that's currently valued at a jaw-dropping $1.2 million. That's right, 1.2 million bucks for a coin you might have in your kitchen drawer right now. Stick around, because in this video, we're diving deep into what makes this coin so special, how you can identify it, and why collectors are practically drooling over it. Plus, I'll share a little story about the time I almost spent a rare coin on a vending machine burrito. Grab your favorite drink, settle in, and let's start this journey into the world of hidden wealth sitting in your pocket. The year is 2020. The world was, well, a little bit upside down. But while we were all distracted, the US Mint released the America the Beautiful National Park quarters. Each one celebrated a beautiful piece of our country. The 2020p you want to watch out for features the Tallgrass Prairie National Preserve in Kansas. You'll see graceful strands of bluestem grass waving in the wind. It looks simple enough, right? But here's the twist: among these millions of quarters, a handful came off the press with ultra-rare characteristics. These are the coins collectors dream about. Let's talk about what makes the 2020p National Park quarter so valuable. There are a few things that drive this insane price tag. Of the P under "In God We Trust" shows it was minted in Philadelphia. While the mint struck plenty of these coins, only a microscopic number were struck with extremely crisp detail, known as full strike or specimen strike. Some of these coins have subtle errors, like doubled dies, off-center strikes, or unusual planchet marks. These imperfections make them stand out to collectors. Think of it like a baseball card with a misprint. Suddenly, everyone wants it. Condition is everything. A coin with no scratches, no wear, and brilliant luster is considered mint state. The highest grade, MS-70, is virtually perfect. Most coins in circulation don't come close. But the handful that did, those are the ones that have sold for over $1 million at auction. You might be thinking, but come on, it's just a quarter. Sure, but a perfect 2020p National Park quarter in MS-70 with a unique die error is as rare as a blue lobster. Coin collecting is bigger business than most people realize. There are wealthy collectors and museums ready to outbid each other for these ultra-rare examples. When demand meets scarcity, you get $1 million price tag. Let's break this down step by step so you can see if you have one of these little gold mines hiding in your change jar. Spotting the $1 million quarter, a beginner's checklist: make sure it says 2020 and has the tiny P. Flip it over. You should see the tallgrass design. Hold it under a bright light. Look for perfect, sharp details. No scratches or dull spots. Use a magnifying glass to check for doubling, especially around the letters and the grass blades. If it looks promising, get it professionally graded by PCGS or NGC. This is the step that makes or breaks your payday. Well, here's the funny part. Most of the time, they don't, but sometimes, a bankroll or a mint release gets mixed up, and suddenly you've got a treasure chest. That's how one lucky collector ended up with a flawless 2020p National Park quarter that sold for $1.2 million. Years ago, I had this shiny quarter in my pocket. I'd pulled it from a fresh roll at the bank. It looked perfect, uncirculated, mirror-like finish. But I was starving, so I popped it into a vending machine for a burrito that tasted like warm cardboard. Later that night, I was reading about rare quarters, and a chill went down my spine. I realized I'd probably spent a valuable piece of history on a cheap snack. Ever since, I always check my change, and you should too. In 2021, an MS-70 specimen sold for $1,225,000 at a private auction. Collectors battled it out over the phone, each bid jumping by $50,000 at a time. Another example, an MS-69 sold for $450,000. That's still enough to pay off most mortgages. These are not isolated events. Every year, the market for rare coins grows, and the 2020p National Park quarter has become one of the most desirable modern coins. Go to your bank and ask for uncirculated rolls. Use gloves when handling coins to avoid fingerprints. Store promising coins in protective holders. Always cross-reference with reliable grading guides. At Beyond the Money, there's something magical about holding a little piece of American history. This coin celebrates the natural beauty of Kansas, struck in a year none of us will forget. It's a testament to resilience, artistry, and pure chance. If you can get rich while you're at it, even better. Today you learned that a simple 2020p National Park quarter dollar could be worth more than your car, your house, or even your retirement account. The date, the mint mark, the flawless strike, and those tiny die errors that make collectors' hearts race. Most importantly, you heard my cautionary tale about the burrito that cost me a fortune. Don't be like me. Check your change before you spend it. If you enjoyed this video and you want more tips, guides, and stories about coins that can make you rich, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button right now, and tap the notification bell so you don't miss the next big opportunity. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Until next time, keep hunting, keep dreaming, and remember, your next $1 million could be hiding in plain sight. Hey folks, gather around and grab your cup of coffee, your reading glasses, or whatever helps you look closely at your spare change, because today, we're talking about something that might just blow your socks off. Do you ever go digging through the couch cushions, find a quarter, and toss it in the junk drawer like it's worthless? That dusty, overlooked coin could be your ticket to becoming a millionaire, and no, I'm not talking about finding a treasure map or winning the lottery. I'm talking about a real-life 2006p Colorado quarter that recently sold for $1.3 million. Yes, you heard that right. One coin. $1.3 million. So if you're holding onto some spare change, or you've got a jar of quarters sitting on the kitchen counter collecting dust, stick around, because today, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about the 2006p Colorado State Quarter, why it's so valuable, how to spot a rare one, and how it could change your life forever. And just to spice things up, I'll even share a little story from my own life where I nearly threw away a coin worth a fortune. True story. Let's get into it. Alright, so let's rewind a bit. The Colorado State Quarter was released in 2006 as part of the 50-state quarters program by the U.S. Mint. This was the third coin released that year and the 38th overall in the series. The design? A breathtaking view of the Rocky Mountains with the caption "Colorful Colorado." It was designed to show off the state's stunning natural beauty, and let's be real, Colorado is a postcard come to life now. Here's the important bit: the coin we're talking about today is the 2006 Philadelphia minted Colorado quarter. You'll know it by the tiny little P on the front of the coin, right under the words, "In God We Trust." That little letter could be the start of $1 million discovery. It all comes down to errors, rarity, and condition. Some of these 2006p Colorado quarters were struck with a double die error, meaning the coin was stamped more than once by the die, but just slightly misaligned. This creates a shadow effect on the letters, particularly around E pluribus unum and sometimes even the mountains themselves. You might also find off-center strikes, die cracks, or even planchet errors, where the metal blank used to make the coin wasn't cut properly. All of these errors make a coin more valuable, and now combine that with a mint state grade, we're talking MS68 or higher, and boom. You've got a recipe for a coin that makes collectors go bananas. One of these coins, in absolutely pristine condition and with a dramatic double die error, sold at auction for a whopping $1.3 million. That's enough for a house, a car, and still leave enough left over for a whole lot of takeout, alright? Now you're probably staring at your change jar wondering if you've been sitting on a gold mine. So here's how to check. Look for the P mint mark. That tells you it was minted in Philadelphia. Check the details on the front and back. Use a magnifying glass or even your phone's camera to zoom in. Look for doubling on the letters or numbers. Look at the mountain ridges. Are they unusually thick? Does anything look off? That might be a good thing. Check the coin's condition. If it's been run through the washer 5 times and looks like it survived a zombie apocalypse, it's probably not worth much. But if it's shiny, crisp, and looks brand new, get it graded. Professional grading services like PCGS or NGC can give your coin an official grade. And let me tell you, that little plastic slab they seal it in? That's the difference between 25 cents and $1.30 million. About 4 years ago, I was helping my uncle clean out his garage. You know the deal: old license plates, dusty magazines, and of course, a giant jar of coins. I was about to dump the whole thing into a Coinstar machine, but something caught my eye. A Colorado quarter that looked extra crisp. The mountains almost popped out at me. I thought, maybe this is worth checking. Well, I took it home, looked it up, and sure enough, it had a minor die clash. I sent it in to be graded and it came back MS66 with an error, and now don't get me wrong, that's a win, but ever since then, I always wonder if I tossed something else in that machine that could have been the $1.3 million. Lesson learned: never underestimate your loose change. Don't just throw it on eBay for $100 and call it a day, get it graded first. It's the only way to protect its value. And for heaven's sake, don't clean it. Coin collectors hate clean coins more than pineapple on pizza. Once it's graded, consider selling it through a major auction house like Heritage Auctions or Stacksbowers. They deal with serious collectors and can help you get top dollar, and while you're at it, start storing your other coins properly. Use soft flips, coin albums, or airtight holders. No Ziploc bags or sandwich tins. Treat them like the little metal gold mines they are. Colorado isn't the only 2006 quarter with value. Keep an eye out for North Dakota, Nebraska, and Nevada quarters too, especially those with the P mint mark and signs of error. Some of these have sold for tens of thousands. They're like the supporting cast of this millionaire movie. So there you have it, folks. One ordinary looking quarter. One small P mint mark. $1 million mistake from the US Mint. That's what makes coin collecting so exciting. Every little piece of change has a story, a possibility, and if you're lucky, a serious price tag. You don't have to be a numismatist or a historian to get into this. Just curiosity, a magnifying glass, and a little patience can take you far. So before you go dumping your change into a vending machine, take a minute to look it over. You never know what you might find out. If you enjoyed this video, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe for more coin tips, and turn on that notification bell so you never miss another potential millionaire coin. Drop a comment below if you've got a coin story of your own or think you might have a valuable quarter. I read every one. Where ordinary pocket change could turn you into a millionaire faster than you can say loose change jackpot. Now, before you dash off to raid your piggy bank or flip over the couch cushions, hear me out because today's episode is about one of the sneakiest little coins hiding in plain sight, the 2000p Maryland $quarter coin. Yeah, that's right, a simple quarter minted in the year 2000, with a little P mint mark that stands for the Philadelphia Mint. It may look like any other quarter you use to buy a gumball or pay a parking meter, but some of these have been selling for, drumroll, please, $1.40 million. I know what you're thinking. Come on, it's just a quarter. But trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be checking every jar, wallet, and laundry pile for one. So grab a cup of coffee, kick back, and get ready because over the next 50 minutes, we're going to unpack everything you need to know about this millionaire-making coin, from what it looks like to why collectors will pay top dollar, and how you might get in on the action. Let's jump in. Let's start with a little backstory. The year 2000 was a big one for quarters because of the 50-state quarters program. Each state got its own design, and Maryland's features the Statehouse Dome, some white oak branches, and the nickname, the Old Line State. Now, if you're just glancing, you'll think, nothing fancy here. But the treasure lies in the details. Some 2000p Maryland quarters were struck with rare die errors, misalignments, and extra metal doubling that make them unique. And coin collectors go wild for these features. Specifically, the most valuable ones have a full strike detail with no wear, dramatic double die obverse clear, strong mint luster certified grading by reputable services like PCGS or NGC. When all these boxes are checked, you're looking at a market value of $1.4 million. Imagine dropping that in a vending machine by mistake. Ouch. Here's how you can check if your Maryland quarter is one of the winners. First, flip it over and look closely at the inscriptions and the details on the dome. You'll want to use a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe because some doubling is so subtle it's practically invisible to the naked eye. Doubling on the word Maryland or the Old Line State, extra thickness on the date 2000, bizarre looking edges or rims off center, strikes that leave blank space. If you see any of this, do not spend it. Put it in a safe place and have it appraised. There are very few flawless examples with dramatic errors, and collectors with deep pockets are always searching for the next crown jewel for their collection. It's also a status thing. Imagine being the person who owns the most perfect, one-of-a-kind Maryland quarter. That's bragging rights forever in the numismatic world. A few years back, I was visiting my cousin, who is one of those people who saves every coin he's ever touched. He had an old peanut butter jar full of quarters on his kitchen counter. I was waiting for coffee to brew, and I started picking through them. I pulled out a Maryland quarter just for fun, and he laughed, saying, "If you find a rare one, you can have it." We realized it had a clear double die on the obverse and some other weird rim errors. He sent it off to get graded, and while it wasn't the $1 million version, it ended up being worth nearly $7,500. So trust me, these coins are out there, hiding in plain sight, and you never know what you'll find in a random jar of change. Don't clean it. Cleaning can ruin its value. Handle it carefully. Always pick it up by the edges, get it authenticated. Reputable graders like PCGS and NGC will give you certification that proves its legitimacy, listed with a top auction house. Heritage Auctions and Stacksbowers regularly deal in high-value coins. While you're on your treasure hunt, keep an eye out for other high-value quarters. 2004 Wisconsin Extra Leaf quarters worth up to $6000199. Delaware quarters with die errors selling for thousands. 1982 Washington quarters with no mint market pays to be thorough. Selling to the first buyer who emails you failing to get a second opinion on grading, forgetting to insure your coin during shipment. One of my friends thought he'd polish up his error quarter, and it dropped the value by 80%. That's the kind of heartbreak you don't want to experience. The 2000p Maryland quarter with dramatic errors can be worth $1.40 million. You need to check for doubling, off-center strikes, and flawless condition. Get expert grading and authentication. Auction it through reputable houses. Never clean or mishandle it. Alright, you made it to the end of this deep dive into one of the most valuable quarters in US history. If you're feeling inspired to go hunting through your change jars or revisit your childhood coin collections, you're not alone. Remember, wealth can come from the most unexpected places. Sometimes, it's just sitting in your pocket waiting to be discovered. Before you go, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because every week, I'm bringing you new strategies, stories, and tips on coins that could change your life. And if you found this video helpful or entertaining, give it a like, share it with a fellow coin enthusiast, and drop a comment below telling me if you've ever found a rare coin. Hey there, fellow treasure hunters and coin enthusiasts. Let me ask you a question. When was the last time you checked your pocket change? I mean, really checked it, like squinting at it under a desk lamp. Checked it. Because right now, you might be walking around with a small metal disc that's worth more than a Ferrari, more than your mortgage, heck, more than your entire neighborhood's mortgages combined. Today, we're going to uncover the story of the 1987p Washington $quarter coin. This little silver-faced quarter has been hiding in plain sight, quietly turning ordinary folks into millionaires. Yes, you heard me right. One of these coins recently sold for an incredible $1.6 million. So grab your coffee, settle in, and get ready. Because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why this 1987p quarter is so valuable, how to spot one, and how it could change your life forever. Let's roll back the clock to 1987. A gallon of gas cost 89 cents, Bon Jovi was living on a prayer, and the US Mint in Philadelphia was cranking out quarters like they were going out of style. The P Mint mark on these coins stands for Philadelphia, where millions were struck. At first glance, there's nothing particularly fancy about the 1987p quarter. It looks just like every other Washington quarter you've probably flipped into a vending machine. George Washington's stoic face on the front, the proud eagle on the back, and that familiar copper-nickel sandwich edge. But here's where things get interesting. In the world of coin collecting, even the most ordinary-looking coin can be worth a fortune if it has the right combination of rarity, error, and pristine condition, and that's exactly what makes the 1987p quarter so special. First, mintage errors. Some 1987p quarters were struck off-center, double-struck, or with die breaks that created unusual raised lines or lumps on the coin's surface. These errors are like typos in an old book. The rarer and more dramatic, the more collectors drool over them. Second, unbelievable condition. The $1.6 million quarter was graded by an independent coin grading service as MS67, which stands for Mint State 67. To put that in perspective, that's about as close to perfect as a coin can get. Most coins fresh from the mint wouldn't even score that high. A third, collector demand. Washington quarters have always been popular, but in the past few years, demand has skyrocketed, especially for coins from the 1980s in extraordinary shape. When you combine demand with rarity and flawless condition, you get record-shattering auction prices. Alright, let's say you're rummaging through your old change jar or the little pile of coins in your car's cup holder. Date in mint mark. Check that the date says 1987 and there's a small P just to the right of Washington's ponytail on the obverse side. Overall condition. Does the coin look like it just came out of a mint roll? No scratches, no worn-down details? That's a good sign. Striking errors. Look carefully for anything unusual, doubling on the lettering, weird lumps, missing elements, or the entire design slightly off-centered. But if you find one that matches these characteristics, do not toss it back in your change jar. Place it in a soft cloth or a coin flip, and get it professionally graded. It could be worth hundreds of thousands or even that golden $1.60 million. Absolutely. In the past 2 years alone, rare 1987 P quarters in near-perfect condition have shattered expectations. Auctions have seen consistent six-figure sales, and a few lucky collectors hit the jackpot. The market for rare coins and high-grade Washington quarters has never been hotter. It's like the gold rush of the 21st century, but with coins instead of pickaxes. I recently spoke with a dealer who told me that more and more collectors are turning their focus to the 1980s coins, because so few people bothered to save them in pristine condition. Everyone thought they were just pocket change. And that's exactly why the survivors are so valuable. Let me tell you a little story. A couple of years ago, I was helping my uncle clean out his garage. He's the kind of guy who throws nothing away. He still has boxes of cassette tapes and receipts from the 70s. The bottom of a dusty cardboard box, we found an old coffee can filled to the brim with quarters. I started sorting through them, more out of curiosity than anything else. A 1987 P quarter in nearly uncirculated condition. At first, I thought, well, that's neat. But I did a little more research and discovered it was worth thousands of dollars. We sent it in for grading, and when it came back MS-65, the phone nearly flew out of my hand. That one little quarter paid for his property taxes for the year. You never know where life-changing coins are hiding. Always check your change. Especially quarters and pennies. Some of the most valuable coins are still in circulation. Handle coins carefully. Avoid touching the faces. Oils from your skin can damage them over time. Invest in a good magnifying glass. You'll need it to spot tiny errors and fine details. Keep records. Document where you found coins and their grading status. Be patient. Finding $1 million coin takes persistence and a bit of luck. There's something magical about hunting for rare coins. It's part detective work, part history lesson, and part treasure hunt. Every time you find an old quarter, you can't help but imagine the stories it's seen, the pockets it jingled around in, the vending machines it fed, the cross-country road trips it survived, and sometimes, just sometimes, that humble coin turns out to be worth a fortune. The 1987 P Washington quarter is one of the most exciting coins in the collecting world today. With a record market value of $1.6 million, it's proof that incredible riches can be hiding right in your spare change. If you take anything away from this video, let it be this: check your quarters. Look closely. Be curious. You never know when the universe is about to hand you $1 million surprise. Before you go, if you enjoyed this video and you'd like more tips on spotting rare coins, learning their values, and turning your hobby into a serious side hustle, hit that subscribe button. Tap the notification bell so you never miss a new episode. If you do find a 1987 P quarter worth a fortune, come back here and tell us about it in the comments. We'd love to celebrate with you. Where pocket change becomes powerful. If you've ever tossed your spare quarters into the couch, into a jar, or into the local vending machine without a second thought, you might want to hold on to your seats, because today we're diving deep into the 2017 P Frederick Douglass quarter, and how one little piece of metal could be hiding a whopping $1.7 million in your house right now. Not $1.70. Not $17. Not even $1,700. We're talking about a single quarter minted in 2017 in Philadelphia with a P mint mark that is now estimated to be worth $1.7 million in today's rare coin market. So if you've ever said to yourself, it's just 25 cents, well, that could have been the most expensive sentence you've ever uttered. Grab your magnifying glass, dig out that old coin jar, and maybe call Grandma, because we're about to crack the mystery behind this $1 million quarter, and I'm gonna walk you through everything from how to spot it to what makes it special, and why collectors are paying mansion-level money for this thing. And make sure you hit that subscribe button, because each week we break down real coins that could make you real money. Now let's get into the good stuff. In 2017, the US Mint released a quarter as part of its America the Beautiful series. And this one paid tribute to none other than Frederick Douglass, the legendary abolitionist, writer, speaker, and all-around American hero. And now most of these coins were made in huge numbers, so you might be thinking, how the heck could one be worth nearly $2 million? Most Frederick Douglass quarters are common, yes. In fact, millions were struck in 2017. But the one we're talking about? It's got some secrets. The 2017 P Frederick Douglass quarter is one of the rarest of the series because of a combination of ultra-high-grade condition, rare minting errors, and collector demand. This is where numismatics, the science of coin collecting, turns into big-time treasure hunting. Alright, let's get to the $1 million question. Literally, of the top-tier coin sold for this price was graded by PCGS at an ultra-rare MS-70, which means mint state, perfect condition. No nicks, no scratches, no discoloration. It looks like it just rolled off the mint's conveyor belt this morning. Some 2017 P. Frederick Douglass quarters feature a double die on Douglass's hands or the architecture in the background of the reverse. That means when the coin was stamped, it got hit twice, creating a doubled image. Some error hunters call this the Ghost Douglass version because of how the doubling looks. Douglass is a historic figure with global recognition. Combine that with an error coin, and the fact that this specific one was found in a government-issued mint set, boom! You've got collectors around the world throwing 6 or 7 figures into the bidding ring. Now here's where it gets even better. The coin that reached $1.7 million? It wasn't passed down in a velvet box or hidden in Fort Knox. Nope. It was found by a guy in, get this, Altoona, Pennsylvania. He was just sifting through his kid's piggy bank looking for quarters to use at the laundromat. He sends it off to get graded just for fun. And months later, $1.7 million wired into his bank account. I don't know about you, but I'd do a cartwheel right out the front door. Alright, now let's talk about how you can spot this moneymaker in your own collection. Look for the standard George Washington portrait. On the lower right side, you should see a P Mint mark, which stands for the Philadelphia Mint. You'll see a seated Frederick Douglass with a pen in hand in his house in the background. This design was created by artist Thomas Hipschen and engraved by Renata Gordon. If they look doubled, you might have a double die. Some rare errors show overlapping window panes, the word quarter dollar. If it looks blurry or shadowed, you might have doubling. If your coin looks pristine and has any of those signs, you need to get it graded. PCGS or NGC are the two main services. A grade of MS67 or higher is where the value skyrockets. Last summer, I was clearing out my old garage, dust, spiders, the works, and found a shoebox of coins I'd forgotten about. Some were just state quarters, a couple of Sacagawea dollars, even a bent penny from 1972. But right in the middle of that dusty pile, a shiny 2017 P quarter. And yeah, I got a little excited. I whipped out my magnifying glass, heart pounding like I'd found buried treasure. I checked the back, Frederick Douglass staring right back at me now. Turns out mine was just a circulated version. Worth 25 cents. Maybe 50 cents tops. That's the magic of coin hunting. It turns ordinary days into treasure hunts. You can't sell a rare coin for top dollar unless it's graded and authenticated. Go with PCGS or NGC. Pawnshops won't give you full value. They lowball. You're better off with auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stacksbowers. There are online communities full of wealthy collectors looking for specific coins. Places like CoinTalk, Reddits or /coins, and even niche Facebook groups. Seriously. Don't touch it with polish, don't scrub it. You could ruin its value. Know what your coin has sold for in the past. That way, you walk into negotiations informed and confident. It could be the most valuable piece of change in your life. We've covered the background, the value, what makes it special, how to identify it, and even how to sell it. All that's left is your hunt. Go check your piggy banks, your junk drawers, your glove compartments. Heck, call your uncle who hoards coins in old medicine bottles. That one quarter could change your life. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel for weekly guides, coin news, and millionaire coin stories just like this one. Hit that like button, drop a comment if you've got a 2017 P quarter in your stash, and share this video with someone who might be sitting on a goldmine without even knowing it. Hey there, treasure hunters and coin enthusiasts. What if I told you that right now, hiding inside an old jar of change in your kitchen, there could be a little silver-colored disc worth $1.8 million? Sounds like something out of a late-night infomercial, right? But stick with me, because today, we're diving into one of the most surprising and exciting stories in American coin collecting, the 1979 D. Washington quarter dollar, a coin you've probably handled hundreds of times without realizing you were holding a potential fortune. Today's video is going to show you everything you need to know about why this quarter is so valuable, what to look for, how you can check your own change, and how to avoid common pitfalls that keep folks from cashing in. We're also going to have a few laughs, share a story or two, and by the end, you'll never look at a quarter the same way again. Alright, grab your coffee, maybe a magnifying glass, and let's jump in. Let's rewind to the groovy year of 1979. Disco was still hanging on, gas was under $1, and the Denver Mint was churning out quarters like there was no tomorrow. Most people paid zero attention to them. After all, a quarter is a quarter. You used them in vending machines, you bought a soda, you fed a parking meter, but here's the thing. Not all 1979 quarters were created equal. Some left the Denver Mint with rare, spectacular errors or minting anomalies that turned them into the holy grail for collectors. One of these unique quarters recently fetched $1.8 million at auction. And I'm willing to bet at least one person watching today might have one in their house. A small number of 1979 D quarters were struck with dramatic die errors, off-center strikes, double dies, or an improperly prepared planchet. Collectors pay an absolute premium for coins graded MS68 or higher, meaning they are basically flawless, with sharp details and beautiful luster. Even though millions were made, only a tiny handful survived in near-perfect condition with those rare errors. Most quarters have been dropped, scraped, and rubbed to oblivion. If you've got one that's been hiding in a safe or in an untouched mint set for decades, it could be a golden ticket. Alright, time to get hands on. If you've got a jar of change nearby, now is the time to start fishing. Look right next to George Washington's ponytail. See that little D? That's the Denver Mint mark. Look for doubling on the date and lettering. Check if the strike is off-center. Examine the reeded edge for unusual patterns or missing reeds. If you spot any of these and your coin is in stunning condition, you might be onto something huge. Let's talk about the auction that made headlines in the coin community. In early 2024, a collector consigned a pristine 1979 D quarter with a dramatic double die obverse, meaning the front image was struck twice in a slightly shifted alignment. Experts authenticated it, graded at MS68, and when the hammer dropped, it sold for $1.8 million. The seller was an everyday guy who found it in a cigar box of old coins from his grandfather. I'm telling you, folks, this stuff isn't just fairy tales. A few years back, I got the bright idea to look through every single coin jar in my parents' house. My mom thought I'd lost my mind. I spent 2 days sitting on the living room carpet, surrounded by piles of coins. I felt like Scrooge MC. No $1 million quarters turned up that time, but I did find a 1950s silver dime worth about $40. That little discovery was all it took to get me hooked on coin collecting. It's the thrill of the hunt. The possibility that something so ordinary could be extraordinary. Cleaning a coin can destroy its value. Leave it as is. You can send it to PCGS or NGC. They'll certify its authenticity and grade its condition. Take it to a reputable coin dealer for an opinion. When coins are worth big money, scammers come out to play. If it looks too good to be true, it probably is. Always use established companies for grading. Just because a coin is old doesn't mean it's valuable. It has to have the right combination of rarity and condition. Even if you don't find $1 million coin, there's a lot of fun and satisfaction in this hobby. It connects you to history, teaches you patience, and keeps your brain sharp. Telling your friends you're a coin hunter is a great conversation starter. Here's the honest truth: not every 1979 D quarter is going to be worth a fortune. But if you approach it as an adventure and educate yourself, you dramatically increase your odds of finding something special. Check estate sales and flea markets. Look for old mint sets at garage sales. Ask family members if they have coin jars they've forgotten about. The 1979 D Washington quarter can be worth $1.8 million if it has rare errors and is in perfect condition. Never clean your coins. Use reputable grading services. Enjoy the hunt, and don't get discouraged. Before we wrap up, let me leave you with this thought: every coin tells a story about the time it was made, the hands it passed through, and the potential it carries. That 1979 D quarter in your pocket could be worth more than a house. But you'll never know unless you look. So tonight, dump out your change jar. Go through every quarter. You might just find yourself $1.8 million richer. If you enjoyed this video and want more guides on coins worth serious money, tips on how to sell them, and stories about everyday folks who struck it rich, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any new videos. And if you've got a coin story of your own, drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear it. Thanks for spending time with me today. Happy hunting, and remember, sometimes the next big treasure is already in your pocket.